miscellaneous bit at the end, all right? The part of the podcast where you, dear listener, send me emails if you need some life advice, if you have a funny story, if you've got something to tell me, something you want me to speak about, email it to podcast@lewspears.com. That's LEW Spears.com. Just summarize it in the subject line, and I'll do my best to answer it if I find it interesting or funny, or if I think I can provide some insight or some bad advice. We're running low on emails. In fact, this is the last one. I've got none left. So if you send me something, it will almost certainly be answered. How do you maintain and deepen bonds with friends? Hey, Lewis. Big fan of the show. Thank you, buddy. So I'm in my second year of uni, which is also my final year for my program, and I've made a lot of friends there, but I feel like I haven't been able to make strong connections with any of them. This may be due to the fact that I have a long commute to the campus, so I'm not there as often. I'm also not much of a texter because I never know how to start a conversation through text. I feel like a lot of people in the course have made strong connections with each other and that I'm out of the loop. I've been invited to outings and I want to try and invite people in the program to hang out, but it's hard because I don't want to invite everyone I'm friends with because big groups are hard to do outings with. And when I do smaller groups, I feel bad because I'm leaving other people out. I'd like to maintain these relationships and deepen them after the course. Any tips? Thanks. Have a shit one. Yeah, it sounds like you're thinking way too much about the feelings of other people. Which can actually, it sounds counterintuitive, but if all you do is think about the feelings of other people, that actually can prevent you from making proper, real connections with other people. Obviously, you have to be empathetic and you do have to think about other people, but if you're thinking about how other people will interpret things to the point where you can't fucking do anything without inviting the 30 fucking friendly acquaintances in your life out, you're thinking about other people too much. There's nothing wrong with having friends that aren't friends with each other. You know what I mean? Like I've got plenty of friends that don't know each other. Plenty of connections that I've made that don't really cross over, and some do and some don't, and that's fine. You know. Like there are people that I play video games with online that have never met people that I am friends with in the comedy scene. There are people in the comedy scene that are not friends with people that I go to church with. You know, I like, you can have more than one community and group of friends, and you can bounce around. If you're so worried about other friends feeling like, is that even a real fear as well? Like if you go out for drinks or to do a thing with your friends from uni, are your friends from school, like high school, going to get upset? Probably not. They don't know. They probably don't even want to fucking hang out with your uni mates. The only way to build a connection with people is to say yes to things. And if you're not getting invited to anything, you need to start showing up to like social groups or anything. Like a really important thing to realize, especially when you're younger and if you're struggling to make friends, is like you don't make friends. Like a friendship doesn't appear like you can't put two people in a vacuum devoid of anything other than each other and be like, this is how a perfect friendship will form. Friends are made when other people engage with other things together, right? This is why everyone makes friends, in most of their friends in school, because we're all going to school together and we're all sitting in class together and we've all got lunch together and we're all wearing the uniform together. Like we're all doing something together. You don't make friends by like bumping into a person in the street and talking and doing nothing. You can't be friends with that person because you need external apparatus to facilitate the friendship. How many friends do you have where your friendship is meeting up in a room and talking to each other while doing nothing else. Friendship is doing shit together. And friendship is obviously also talking and looking after each other and doing that kind of stuff. But like, that's how friendships are deepened. It's not how friends are made. If you go up to someone and you start talking about trauma, they're going to be like, this guy's fucking crazy. But if you go up to someone at the badminton club and start playing badminton every Sunday, and then 3 months into that, you go, you know, when I was a kid, my mum wasn't very nice to me. And then he gives you a hug. Now you're fucking deeper friends. But if you opened up with that, with no badminton, you'd be a fucking weirdo. So you've got to actually do things, activities. Go out and see a comedy show together. Gather 55,000 people and buy tickets to a Lewis Spears show. That's how you make friends. It doesn't work with other comedians, just me. But you know what I'm saying? Like, you got to do shit. You know? Like a lot of my friends are in comedy because that's what I do and that's what they do. I don't have any friends in calisthenics because I don't do calisthenics. You can't make a friend if you don't do a thing, and you can't do a thing with fucking every single person that you know. You are allowed to have multiple groups of friends or multiple individuals that you're friends with that aren't friends with each other or don't even know the other person exists. You can do that. Like, how many birthday parties have you gone to and met someone for the first time that your mate has been friends with for ages? And you're like, oh. And then how many times have you met that person, talked to them, and been like, oh, I wouldn't hang out with this person, but I'm glad my mate likes him. That happens all the time. Your girlfriend's friends, you know, you don't have to be friends with them as well. It's nice. It's nice to be, but you don't have to be. It's not like an integral part of a relationship to be besties with your girlfriend's bestie. You can just get along and, you know, gel. It's a problem if you hate each other, but if you don't love each other, that's not a problem. It sounds like you're thinking too hard. It sounds like you're like getting invited out somewhere or feeling the urge to invite someone out, and then you immediately are like, oh, but what about my fucking friend from this? Like, he might get up. He probably won't. And if he does, you're in a weird, controlling friendship. Like, if your mate is like, oh, you can't hang out with you can't do a group assignment with your friends from uni and then go out for a drink afterwards. What about me? You don't go to the uni, man. You don't need to be there. You're thinking too hard. Friends are made by doing things. And if you don't have any friends, you got to do things. And you will find friends. And when you do those things, you can't lock up and be silent. You got to be open and allow yourself to be talked to. I think it's particularly a problem in Australia where we are very like, we really do keep to ourselves. And my mind has opened so much to strangers since traveling, because I realized how fucking suspicious and weird and quiet Australians are, and how suspicious we are of people that we don't know. Whereas when I was in America, people would talk to me and I'd be like, what the fuck is going on? When I was in traveling UK, Scotland, Ireland, people would talk to me and I'd be like, and it took me fucking like a week to be like, I need to loosen up. These people are not weird for like approaching me in a bookstore and talking about books. Like that literally happened. A girl came up to me in a bookstore. She was looking for a gift to buy. And she goes, oh, you're looking at this section. I can't remember what I was looking at, fantasy or something. Oh, you're looking at this. Do you have any recommendations? And I was like, why the fuck is this bitch talking to me in the bookstore? And then you know what? I just gave her some recommendations. We had a fucking lovely chat. And then I happened to be walking the same way. I walked to the train station. She's going, anyway, I'm off to China. I'm a translator. Had a fucking fascinating conversation with this girl. And then we just part ways. I was like, that brightened my life. And I still remember that. You know, and that, you know, that's a friend that I could have made. If you do things with an open energy, you will be presented with opportunities to make friends. But if you're worried about what other people are thinking, worried about people who aren't even involved in this conversation are thinking, worried about this, worried about that, wondering why people are talking to you, thinking about how the fuck do I make friends? How do I make friends? You won't. Just do things and have an open and accepting attitude, and you will make friends. It's almost inevitable. You can't sit in class not talking to anyone and not going out to anything and being like, fuck, how do I make lasting connections with people? You make lasting connections with interests and hobbies and skills, and you will bump into the same people again and again and again, and then you will become friends through that thing. It's like, genuinely, friendships and also relationships, it's like thing leads to people. People sometimes lead to thing, but thing almost always leads to friends.